Hello, crypto boys and ghouls, and welcome back to the channel, Tales from the Cryptmancer, where we feature content on play-to-earn games on the blockchain, such as Splinterlands. And in today's video, I wanted to share a clip from a recent Splinterlands TV stream where we talked about card flipping and market tips and tricks. So basically, things that we look for to take advantage of in the card market when it comes to buying and selling cards and trying to flip cards from time to time, as well as things to avoid. So if this is content that you enjoy and you like talking about these types of things when it comes to Splinterlands, feel free to join us on Splinterlands TV, where we stream Saturday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern for 2 hours, and then again on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern for 2 hours. Hope to see you there, and until next time, keep stacking those stats. So let's talk a little bit about the card market. And right now, there are some opportunities in the market. If you want to spend the time in there, specifically, not so much on the modern cards. There's maybe not as much wiggle room on value there necessarily, but on some of the older cards, the wild cards, you can get some reasonable deals out there. I'm just going to share here some of the things that I've been flipping in the last week, just some of the data points. So here's some buys and sells over the last week here in August that we've done. We bought a level 4 Haunted Spirit for $24.49 on the 22nd. About a day and a half later, we flipped it and sold it for $39.99. So it's roughly a $15 flip there. That Haunted Spirit's a 5-mana self-healer with Magic Reflect at that level. And it's a good card for sure. It's actually a good deal, I think, at $40. For me, I'm not going to use it necessarily because I have a Zenith Monk, but it's a good option for death still. Now, on August 24th in the evening, we bought a Silver Shield Assassin for $41 at level 5. This is the Twin Strike with Poison level for the Silver Shield Assassin, and we sold it about 11 hours later for $52. So it's not a huge profit. It was like $11 there. And then on August 25th, we bought 2 Silver Shield Sheriffs here and combined them. We bought a level 3 and a level 5 and combined them, I believe, to level 6. And level 6 is when the Silver Shield Sheriff gets to Protect. And the Protect is key for the Wraith team. It's a really good card with Wraith. And we ended up selling that about 3 days later for $77.74. So our cost to get the card level that we wanted was $59. We sold it for about $78, so it was about $19 in profit there on that flip. And then on the 25th in the evening, we bought a Cerberus with Self-Heal and Retaliate, $82 for that card. And we sold that 3 days later and for $108. So we made about $26 on that card. So all in all, in the last week, from a card flipping perspective, we made about a little over $71 on cards. And the cost of the cards that we paid was roughly, we had to invest about a little over $206 to buy the cards to make that $71. So I guess the moral of the story is, card flipping locks up capital, but if you can choose the right cards, you can flip them usually maybe in a couple days to a week. And, that's roughly, I don't know, maybe close to a 40% return on that $206. So it can still be done in the current market. It's just, there are a couple things to keep in mind. And I wrote some of these down here, and we can talk a little bit about them. So general card flipping tips and that we can talk about here. One of the things to look for are discrepancies in the low buy versus the per BCX prices. And ideally, you want to find something that's got a difference of more than 50% in a bull market. In a bear market, you may not get that, unfortunately. But when you can find that on Peak Monsters, that's a good deal. And what do I mean by that? I can maybe just illustrate what that looks like. So if I go to, let's see, so like here's an example, the Spineback Turtle. The low buy price here is $1.60 for a 1 BCX Spineback Turtle, but the multi BCX price here is 35 cents. So that's more than a 50% difference between the 1 BCX low buy versus the per BCX price. And you can see here, the reason for that is, well, they've got a level 9 Spineback Turtle here and a level 10 Spineback Turtle here at these lower prices, which is, setting the value. Because most people don't really want to buy necessarily a level 9 or level 10 Spineback Turtle. And that's why they're cheaper. There's a volume discount implied there. But when you can find, for example, here, like if I saw a level 4 Spineback Turtle at 12 BCX with thorns that was selling for 35 cents a BCX, that would be absolutely something that I would pounce on and purchase that for a flip, because that's a lot less than $107. In fact, that's only about $3 and change, maybe like $3.50 for that card. Maybe I get $4. But it's a card that's Little League, it's thorns, and it's desirable. And if I can get that kind of value, then I will take that. Now, another thing to look for here when you're doing market flips is, look for diamonds in the rough. Like we just talked about that Spineback Turtle, for example. Like if I can get a max level BCX pricing for a Spineback Turtle at level 4, like a low BCX card, those are great opportunities to pounce on as well. And what I generally look to do is target league level breakpoints that are popular, that introduce new stats or abilities. So if we look at the cards that I purchased for flipping, they're all cards that are usable in the current meta that have good breakpoints for stats or abilities. Let me show you, for example, the Haunted Spirit level 4 that I bought as an example. If you look at Haunted Spirit and we look at level 4, you can see level 4 is 11 BCX. It has the Self-Heal and Magic Reflect. And that Magic Reflect is really nice at level 4. And that's why, I'm interested in that card. You can see here, I actually bought another one. And I have another one on the market for the same price here, $40. So if anyone wants a Haunted Spirit for $40, it's out there. And again, it's a good card. Like, you've got a 5 mana, 3 attack, self-heal with 3 speed, 8 health with Magic Reflect. It's a great card, and it's going to be used and useful, but it's a good price as well. So it's attractive, right? And that's what you want. You want to get cards that you yourself would consider buying and using. Some more examples here. Again, we talked about the Silver Shield Assassin breakpoint here at level 5 has Poison. The Silver Shield Sheriff has Protect. Cerberus has Retaliate. So all of these were conscious decisions where I'm trying to pick up cards. Well, that goes into one of my next points here, a little bit later down. The next point here is, we want to periodically scan for alpha and beta discrepancies in pricing, as well as regular foil and gold foil discrepancies. So be aware of that. For example, if I'm looking at a Haunted Spirit here as an example, and I can see his pricing, sometimes the alpha card will have better value. Like for example, if we look here, level 6 right now is selling for $114 for the beta. Now, if I look at the alpha, which maybe people aren't necessarily looking for, they kind of skip over them just because they think there's no value there. A level 6 Haunted Spirit is 26 BCX. So there's no values here specifically for the alpha. Let's just say there was a 26 BCX alpha here for $2.76. Well, because the alpha requires less BCX, that card would cost me $52 for a level 6 in the alpha version if that was the case, and that would be something I would want to scoop up. Because again, I'm getting the same level card with a better card release, meaning alpha is better than beta for the collection power and just collectability, but I'm getting it for a cheaper price. Same thing for gold foil, right? So again, on some of these cards, like you can look at maybe not beta, but maybe Untamed. You can look at Untamed here, and it might be that an Undead Badger, maybe it's a bad example, but let's say I wanted Undead Badger at level 5 because it gets 2 melee attack damage. That's 5 BCX, and like a 5 BCX Undead Badger is $55. I don't know what a level 5 here would cost. Yeah, level 5 here is $34. So this is not a good example. Let's just say, as an example, I could get a level 5 gold version of an Undead Badger for $40. That would be something I would want to do because it's only like $5 more than the same regular foil version. So again, it's sometimes you can find values in the market because people don't realize the level breakdowns, especially at levels 3, 4, and 5 for the gold level cards. So be aware of that as well. And then also understand the historical pricing and the market value when buying cards. And let me talk about each of those separately here, but let me show you where to get the data. So let's go to Untamed. Let's just look at like Unicorn Mustang as an example. Actually, not Unicorn Mustang. Let's look at Beatrix Ironhand. So let's say I find a good value here. And there's a level 10 here for $4. It gets Thorns at level 10, or excuse me, 10 BCX, which is level 3. So maybe that's of interest to me. Maybe I like this card at this level. And it's the lowest price in the market. It's, it's about, I don't know what, 20% cheaper than the next one from a flip perspective. But if you go to stats here and go to the month view, what do we see here? Well, $4 BCX pricing, I can see that the average price is about $4, and in some cases it's much less than $4. Like in the last 30 days, it's sold for around $3. So historically speaking, this $4 price maybe is not a good value, but also let's look at the volume, right? Because if this is a card that doesn't have a lot of volume and I buy it, even if it's a good value, it could take a long time to sell if people aren't looking at it and it's not in the meta and it's not a desirable card. You can see here the volume. A day ago was 0. 2 days ago it sold 1. 3 days ago it sold 1. Sold 26 BCX there. Then it's 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 10, 2. So in the last 10 days, last week and a half, for example, other than one day where 26 BCX were sold, we can see that were sold for about $4, $3.90. This card's not getting a lot of love. It's not getting a lot of value. So if I buy this card here, as an example, to flip, I've got to expect that it might take a while to sell it, just based on the volume that we're seeing here in this chart. So that's also something to keep in mind. You want to ideally flip cards that have a good volume to work with. Now, this is probably the most important point in all of this, and it's buy cards that you would actually use or could easily rent. And the reason why you do that is just in case you can't easily resell the card. Let's say, as an example, if I went into here and I bought a princess, right? And I bought a princess, let's say I bought a princess here, I don't know, at level 25 or 25 BCX at level 4. So it's got the tank heal. And let's say I couldn't sell it. Let's say the market for the princess went down because in Rift Watchers, they came out with a 1 mana tank healing card, for Earth, right? Or something silly like that. And all of a sudden the market on princesses went down, and now the sales price was $2 a BCX, and I bought it for $4. Well, if I bought the card knowing that I was trying to flip it, but it's actually a good card. It's a 2-mana Earth tank heal with magic damage. Well, now I can use it in my deck, perhaps. You know, maybe I can rent it out for a good amount on the rental market. Or, you know, maybe I could give it to an alt or give it to a scholar to delegate to, you know, or just hold it and wait for the market to rally and recover because it's a good card and it should rally, right? So that's what I want to do. I want to, if I'm going to do a flip of a card, I want it to be a card that I like, that I wouldn't mind playing with or keeping long term. Because if the worst case scenario happens, you know, I don't want to be stuck with a, you know, a max level Gargoyle Devil that I'm probably not going to use very often, as an example, the flip. And then the last couple points here, don't bite off more than you can chew. I mean, card flipping is not for everyone. If you do it, realize that the revenue or the capital or the money that you put into the cards that you buy is going to be locked until you sell it. And when you get that revenue back, it's going to be in DEC. So recognize that as well. So like with my examples here of the cards that I bought to flip, you know, I locked up $200 in assets in the game that I couldn't put into LPs, couldn't put into packs, you know, couldn't stake, couldn't do anything else with it. I just had to hold the cards and hope they sold. So don't do it with, you know, your entire, you know, Splinterlands collection. Don't just go flipping cards and think you're gonna, you know, be a millionaire tomorrow. Just realize that, you know, it's an art, not a science. It doesn't always work, and that anything you put into that could be at risk. It's definitely risky. And then last point here, you know, be aware that small markets can be manipulated, especially by bots. So generally, as a rule of thumb, if I see, for example, let me see if I can find a good example here. Let's see, where could I possibly find one? Give me a second. It shouldn't take too long. Right here, for example, like if I saw a value of a 5 BCX failed summoner on the market, let's say it was a good value and it was selling for like 99 cents or something, and it wasn't a card that I was going to want to use myself anytime soon, and if I see AO4 has the same level card out here, I know that I'm not selling my card before this bot sells its card, because every time I lower my price, it's going to lower it even more. So I'm going to get in a bidding war with the bot, and it's going to be a losing battle. So basically, if you see AO4 has the same level card as you, you're pretty much resigned to pretty much waiting for that card to sell and then listing your card, unfortunately, unless you want to get into a bidding war with the bot, which I don't usually recommend, unless you want to snipe his card at a value and resell it, which you can do, which I can do a video on that in the future if you're interested. But generally speaking, if you see AO4, some of these other bots out here listing the same card, it's not a good card to flip at the moment. And usually, you know, again, you're looking at a longer time horizon to flip that card. So just be aware of that. Again, it's small markets can be manipulated, not only by bots, but by players. You can see here, not to say that N Miners is manipulating the market. You know, he's been selling cards. It's been known for a while. He's liquidating cards for SPS assets or card packs, for example. You know, if you were trying to flip failed summoners right now, well, look at all these cards that you're gonna have to sell before you, and likely he's gonna undercut you if you try and undercut him. So this would be a bad card to try and flip right now, as an example, a 1 BCX. So realize that the market can be manipulated, and don't get stuck in a bad marketplace. Is basically the takeaway there. So there you have it. Some takeaways on card flipping. Hopefully that was helpful for you.
That's